When George Balanchine said, "I don't want people who want to dance, I want people who have to dance," he was speaking about members of the New York City Ballet. To join the ranks takes unbelievable amounts of commitment, perseverance, and training. And for most of these dancers, the training began at the School of American Ballet.
Fifth and fifth, go low and one, good. And
SAB has two functions. One, it supplies us, New York City Ballet, with our dancers, but it also trains dancers for companies all over the world.
What's your foot, boys? You're late, Olive, you're late. Up, and one, and two, and one, and two.
Founded in 1934 by George Balanchine and Lincoln Kirstein, the School of American Ballet was created with one purpose only: to develop dancers who are as well trained as surgeons, and to return to the school to train the next generation of dancers.
Most of our faculty studied here at the School of American Ballet, and almost all of our faculty performed in the New York City Ballet.
one, plie, watch that back foot, keep it nice, and up.
And
Go front side, real
we all grew up with Balanchine as our teacher.
The faculty represents some of the finest alumni from the New York City Ballet: Jock Soto, Darcy Kissler, Suki Shore, Susan Pilar, Sean Lavery, all masters of the Balanchine aesthetic.
1, 2, 3. When I first came to SAB, I didn't realize the rare opportunity it was to study under such great teachers. I hadn't necessarily heard of their names directly, and I didn't know that they were a part of New York City Ballet and that they had learned from Balanchine himself. Once I came to the school, I started to understand how educated they were and how great it is that they really understand firsthand what Balanchine taught, and they are applying that to our classes now.
Touch.
Everyone's ultimate goal, obviously, in the school is to be dancing with the New York City Ballet.
Lift.
Everyone's really driven here. So it's just a very passionate environment. Here it's like everyone wants to learn like how to do a plie. They want to learn how to do 8, 9 pirouettes, and the girls, they want to learn how to put their, leg past their head, and you get to be around so many people that have this passion.
Twice a year, auditions are held for 5- and 6-year-olds. The first criteria is not dancing, but flexibility. Are their arches high enough? Are their legs straight enough? Are their joints flexible? Without these attributes at 6, they can't be a great dancer at 16.
We look to see if the hips can turn out, because that's what happens in classical ballet. But at the end, we have our pianist play some music, and the child can skip or run or do anything they want across the floor. Then you look at the musicality, and you look and see if they can figure out what the tempo is. And that's an important part, even when they're 5 and 6.
And at 7, I kind of had my mind made up that I was gonna be a dancer. And I knew it would be a lot of work, but I really wanted to do it.
It takes many years to learn how to be a ballet dancer. Many of those years, 3 to 5 hours a day of dancing.
And that's not coupe though. Where's coupe, Mir? Yeah, you have to be really specific.
After 6 or 7 years of studying 3 hours a day, the vocabulary and the movements are somewhat automatic. In the end, when you go on stage, it has to be totally automatic. And you just dance the music. And the steps are in you. You can't think, oh, it's tombe, pas de break, glissade, jeté, coupe, ballonné, step, jeté. That has to be automatic, and you just ride the music.
SAB is also a boarding school. And while teenagers come here to dance, academics are also part of the program.
Our students usually either go to professional children's school, PCS, or they go to a public school, PPAS, which is also a school that will let them out in the afternoons and mornings to take their classes. We won't let them live in our dormitories unless they're pursuing a high school education.
Now that I'm 17, I'm a senior in high school, and I go to professional children's school. And I walk over to PCS, which is 5 blocks away. I get there for my first class, which starts at 8:50, and that's senior English. So after senior English, we all walk back together to SAB, and we take our morning class at 10:30 and take another academic class at PCS, which for me is advanced physics.
Peter Martin started the boys program in the early 90s, and in those days, the program for young boys or young men was not very popular. Peter decided that we needed men dancing in ballet, needed more good dancers, so we have a tuition-free program here at the school for our young students who are starting out.
The stigma against boys in ballet, I think, is fading rapidly. I mean, we have so many new boys coming to ballet who are enthusiastic about it. It has sort of bloomed, if you will. Not only are there lots of boys coming to the school, but they're getting fantastic training and they're getting better and better, and it's actually amazing to watch.
Well, I would love to be a dancer. That's my dream. I'd love to, but that's a long time away. So for now, I'm just really working on my dancing and trying to be the best I can be. Dancing in Swan Lake was so much fun because it was a totally different thing from the Nutcracker and Romeo and Juliet that I also got lucky enough to do.
Lucky enough also describes the audiences who were able to see Sarah Mearns dance the dual role of the white and black swans in this sold-out run. It was not that long ago that Mearns was a student dancing in these very studios.
I actually started at the summer courses at SAB. My first summer course was when I was 12. And even at the summer course at SAB, there are so many talented dancers, it's kind of overwhelming. When I came to the winter term, it's a lot of pressure being at the best school in the country, but you step up to the plate in some way, because you know you got here, they took a chance on you to bring you here, the teachers, the school. So you need to up your game.
Sarah Mearns came to the school with quite a strong technique. She can do everything. I mean, she could turn when she was here, and she can still turn. But I think that she dances bigger and bigger almost every time, every day. When I see the next performance, it's like even bigger than before. She gives even more than she gave last year. As a student, she had that, but a little bit, I think we had to bring it out, and now it's out.
It amazes me to think that Sarah Mearns was in my position just 8 years ago, studying from the same teachers and learning the technique and the style just as I am now. She's definitely an inspiring figure, and she's definitely someone I aspire to be like.
Keep your legs moving.
The students that we have at the school, especially in the intermediate to advanced classes, I think they've made that the commitment that they want to be a dancer. I wouldn't say that they were driven, but I think they have their focus, they know what they want.
The students at this school don't need to be pushed. They live to dance, and sometimes they are their own harshest critics.
Okay, it's all right, don't shake your head, you're doing really well, and you know, we're all working on things, so please do not be upset. How else are you going to learn? we're the school. We're a school. We're learning things, right?
Our students, when they're taught the Balanchine aesthetic, really understand how their bodies work and are in charge of their bodies.
When I teach, I certainly try to communicate and pass on everything that I learned from Balanchine and what I've learned from other teachers that I think fits into the aesthetic that Balanchine was after. Yes, you have to work hard, you have to concentrate, you have to focus, and you have to push yourself. But to move, and to move to the music, and to be in time should be so joyous, like it all fits together, and it's so exciting.
The feeling you feel when you're dancing, and regardless of like how your body feels, like you just want to do it. And, you know, it just doesn't matter. I think when you're in a studio, nothing matters. So I feel like if you have a blister, what's that when you can do a huge jump and you can feel the music and, you know, you can do what you want in a studio and just like express your art form. You're not gonna let a little like blister or a bunion like ruin your day.
Because you love the art, you disregard the physical demands because you want it so much. You want to be the best, and you want to work your hardest so that you can prove to yourself and to the teachers that you deserve to be a company member and to perform.
Megan has a wonderful long line. She has beautiful feet. When we say that in the ballet world, we mean that they point beautifully.
But the most outstanding for me about her, other than her physical attributes, is her desire. When somebody has that much desire to dance and so much spirit, it's, you know, it's something you want. And also, she's a good dancer, besides, which doesn't hurt.
Harrison Ball is a beautiful young dancer with our school. He is a classicist. He is the kind of dancer that when you watch the ballet class, he's somebody who does the classical positions perfectly and is someone for our younger students to go and watch and learn from.
Harrison is a wonderful, wonderful dancer. He has a lot of energy and he has a poetic quality to his movement.
I've always wanted to be a dancer as long as I can remember. It's just always been something that I wanted to do. When I saw the Nutcracker, I was 3 years old and I saw it, and then I decided that I wanted to be on a stage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Balanchine is very difficult, but, you know, it's a challenge, and I think that's what's really alluring to a dancer. And I think Balanchine was kind of one of the first big swings in the changes in classical ballet.
Balanchine trained us to develop the skill and the finesse and the articulation of the legs and the feet, how to hold the hand, how to move the arm. And then he refined all the technique, making us to move slower and faster and bigger and lower plie and higher jump, higher legs. Balanchine was fascinated by the way a woman looked on point. It lengthened her whole leg. I think he said that if it wasn't for the point shoe, he might not be a choreographer. Because of the point shoe and the length it gave the woman and the finesse that he developed in the use of our feet and our legs, it fascinated him how we could get onto point, how we could get off point, how we could fall over the foot onto the floor, how we could descend through the toes. And he pushed us to a new level.
We don't have Balanchine to choreograph any longer, or Robbins. And of course they were giants, but we still create ballets all the time. Myself, other people, we invite people to make new ballets, because that's the other part of New York City Ballet which separates us from all other companies, and that is that we are very, very creative, more creative than anybody else.
I think that the teachers here certainly are keeping the Balanchine flame. The teachers that worked with Balanchine, for sure. Because if you stayed with him, you had to believe in what he taught. And if you didn't believe in what he taught, then most people left. I mean, it wasn't the only way to dance, but it was certainly what he wanted to see. And It's the beautiful way. For me, it's the only way to dance.
The school year culminates with the workshop, a public performance complete with costumes and a full orchestra.
It's a wonderful way to end the school year, to be on the stage performing to an orchestra, wonderful ballets, and showing what has taken place over the last year, how the dancers have improved. Because to dance is wonderful and to perform is even better.
You get into New York City Ballet, and you're 18 years old, and your dream is the hard work that you're going to do is going to make you a principal dancer. And that's the dream you have. That's the dream every child has when they're 8.
Perhaps in this group of 8-year-olds, there is one who has the dedication, the drive, and devotion to ultimately have a career as a principal dancer with the New York City Ballet.